What if I told you this stunning celestial wall art started as a plain Dollar Tree plaque? In today's video, I'm showing you exactly how to transform budget basics into something truly magical with decoupage and air dry clay. Make sure you stick around for a little paint blending magic using a simple technique that's a total game changer. Hello, my crafty friends. I'm Donna from Mason Creations, etc., and welcome to my channel. So if you're ready, my friends, let's make a mess. I got this wooden plaque at Dollar Tree. I thought the shape of it would work so good with what I was planning to do. I'm going to turn it lengthwise though, so I'm removing the twine hanger. There are a few rough spots, especially around the edges, so I'm giving the plaque a light sanding and wiping all the dust off. I made this plaque for my friend Justine. The name of her business is Moonlit Beauty, so I thought she would just love this plaque with all the many moons on it. Thank you, Justine, for always making my hair and nails look so good. I'm going to give the center of the plaque a coat of white paint using Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color cotton. I'm going to be decoupaging a rice paper image in the center of the board. Anytime you're going to decoupage, you want to have a white background. White makes your colors look vibrant. Dark colors will make your image look dark as well. So always stick with white or a very light off-white. Dixie Belle chalk paint goes on really smooth, which leaves you a nice surface to decoupage on. Now I'll let that dry for about an hour. There are two holes from where I removed the twine hanger. I'm using some texture paste to fill in the holes. I'm putting it in the hole and then scraping off the excess. That'll need to dry for about an hour. This and all the products you're going to see me use today came from decoupagenapkins.com, my wonderful sponsors. Just look at this gorgeous rice paper. I saw this and knew I had to do something with it. Please note that this rice paper is an A5 size, which is 6.3 inches by 8.6 inches. So it's not your standard size, it's a little smaller. I'm using a water brush to remove all the factory white edges. A water brush has a cartridge that you fill with water and then brush it on the napkin or rice paper. The water dispenses easily, so this is really convenient. You can find this in my description box below in my favorite tools section, just in case you want to check it out. You always want to tear your rice paper or napkin instead of cutting it. A torn edge is much easier to blend than a sharp cut edge. I'm spraying my rice paper image with some water. Not a lot, just a light mist. This will make the paper more pliable and it'll create a great bond with the decoupage adhesive. I'm using Polyvine Decorator's Varnish as my decoupage adhesive today. You can use this product as a varnish and an adhesive, which is true for all the Polyvine formulas. It works so much better than the most popular brand of decoupage glue. It's not a glue, so it doesn't go on thick and lumpy. It's a varnish, so it dries crystal clear and will never yellow. I added the varnish in the center of the plaque, and then I'm positioning her in the very center of this plaque as well. And then brushing more of the varnish over top of the rice paper. That will need to dry for a couple of hours, mostly because of the water I used. Okay, I'm going to show you a little trick now. I let my decoupaged image dry for a couple of hours, and now I'm going to seal it, paying close attention to the edges of the paper. I'm using Polyvine Heavy Duty Wood Varnish in the satin finish. I'm going to be painting up to and over the edge of the paper. Without a gloss sealer on the edges, the paper will just soak up the paint and you'll be able to see exactly where the edge of the paper is when it dries. I want to disguise those edges and not call attention to them, so gloss sealer is the key. I found a Dixie Belle chalk paint color that matches the dark background of the paper. The color is called Midnight Sky. It looks black, but it has a subtle bluish tint to it, which is the color of the paper. I'm taking the paint up to the paper and going a little over the edge so the two colors blend together. I'm using a sponge dauber to help me blend the colors. Since there is a coat of satin varnish on the paper, any paint mishaps will wipe right off with a damp Q-tip. I'm catching the frame and the inner edge of the frame with the dark paint. I found a pentart color that is just about exactly this golden color in the paper. The name of the color is White Coffee. I'm blending it into the dark color by dabbing the brush between the two colors. Here's how you get a great blend with your rice paper. Bring your new color over top of the rice paper, dabbing it. Because of the sealer, it will blend nicely together. I'm putting the paint on and then using a dry brush to tap it and blend. By bringing the new color over top of the paper, the new color appears to be part of the paper. I blended the light color together with the dark color around the inner edge of the frame, which gave it kind of a ragged, distressed look. DecoupageNapkins.com has such a great selection of napkins that you can purchase one at a time. They carry many other craft supplies such as rice paper, paint, clay, molds, and a great selection of Polyvine products. Over 9,000 products and growing. They are wonderful to work with and will send your order out fast. You'll receive free shipping on orders over $75 and special bonus points for orders over $100. Subscribe to their newsletter by entering your email address and you'll receive 10% off your next order. They are truly your one-stop shop for craft supplies. Make sure you check them out. I'll be leaving links for all the products I use in my description box below, as well as more information on the previously mentioned promotions. Please note that any of these promotions are subject to future changes. Okay, now it's time to finish up her gorgeous gown. This is going to be a little trickier, my friends, but we've got this. There's a lot going on with this gown. First, I'm mixing some of that dark color with berry wine to get the base color. I painted the bottom and then with a small brush brought some of the paint up into the rice paper. I'm also blending some of the dark color in with the bottom of the gown. The colors look a little off on camera because one is shiny and the other is matte. Once I'm completely finished, it'll be just about flawless. There are lighter lines in her gown representing the folds in the fabric, so I need to mimic them. The berry wine looks pretty good right now, but you'll see shortly that it just fades into the dark color and isn't very noticeable. So I'll end up fixing that. I'm using some nail art brushes to do the detail and fine line work. Boy, do they work good for this. I test all the products that I recommend in my videos. I won't recommend anything that I haven't used myself and prefer. If I'm recommending it, you can bet it's a great product. Each product will be listed in my description box below and will have a blue link to make it easy for you to find. Any of the links I provide are safe for you to click on. In the rice paper, this gown has tiny little dots of the gold color. So let's get some of those on there too. I used my beautiful golden color, a little water, and a toothbrush to create a fine mist. I splattered her gown and the top of the plaque where the stars are. I'm using one of my nail brushes to add some darker dots, again mimicking the top of the gown on the rice paper. I also dotted some of them on the rice paper so it looks the same. Where are you all watching from, my crafty friends? Let me know in the comments. I just love to see what cities and countries all my friends are watching from. I'm filming from sunny Las Vegas, Nevada in the United States. I added back some of the stars that I ended up painting over, and then dotted the sky with some additional stars as well. If you're enjoying this video, please let me know by hitting that like button. And why not share this with a friend? Thanks for doing that. You won't want to miss any of the new projects coming up, so don't forget to subscribe. I'm using my favorite DOS clay to make some celestial embellishments for this plaque. This mold is by Stamperia, and it has a bunch of moons, stars, suns, and planets. It's going to work so well with my theme. This is part of my sponsor's designer mold collection. The designer molds are large and very high quality. After pressing the clay into the molds, I'm scraping off the excess with my palette knife and then smoothing the clay out with some water. Then I'll put them in the freezer for 20 minutes. Freezing the clay makes it rigid so they just pop out of the mold easily. No tiny little limbs will break off. If you want to see an in-depth video on how to work with air dry clay, click the banner in the top right corner of your screen. I'll also leave you a link for that video in my description box below. Fresh out of the freezer, watch how easily these just pop out of the molds. No delicate little pieces will break off. They are frozen solid, so I'll need to let them thaw for a few minutes, but not in the mold. Make sure you remove them from the mold right away as soon as you take them out of the freezer. I'm going to use Aleene's tacky glue to add my molded clay to my piece. I need to add this while the clay is still wet so it'll conform to the piece as it dries. This is the best glue I've found for attaching wet clay. If any glue seeps out from under the clay, I'm removing it right away with a clean damp brush. I'm also pressing down all the edges of the clay very delicately to make sure they're all connecting with the piece. I placed everything on the plaque where I wanted it, and now I'm lifting each one up and gluing them in place. This will need to dry overnight. The clay is dry, and now it's time to paint my many moons. I'm using my gorgeous Pentart golden color. I'm going to paint all the clay embellishments this color. I want the entire plaque to be the color of a full moon. After the paint dried, I gave my entire piece a coat of Polyvine heavy-duty wood varnish in a satin finish. 2 or 3 coats of this gives you a beautiful shine that's moisture and high heat resistant, as well as high chemical resistant, high stain resistant, high abrasion resistant, and food safe. This works wonderful on any painted or decoupage surface or shiny surface that has been coated with Polyvine multi-surface lacquer. I let that dry for an hour between each coat and an hour after the final coat. I've had a few people ask me if this varnish has a strong smell. No, it does not. It's water-based, so there are no harmful fumes at all. It's only the solvent-based varnishes that have any fumes. Okay, now it's time to fix those striped folds in her gown. I mixed the berry wine with a little bit of my golden color to lighten it up a little bit. I'm mixing my colors with each other to keep everything the same tones. I'm restriping with the lighter color, and I'm also going to add some highlights to the stripes with my moon color. Doing both made it look just like the rice paper. But I'm doing all these things up on the rice paper as well to blend it all in and make it look the same. That's totally the trick to blending what you add insofar as paint with your rice paper. This technique really works. I'm working on some great summer projects right now. A lot of them are requests that I'm excited to be making. I love planning projects around your requests. Just please be patient. I get quite a few of them, and I get the projects out as quickly as I can. I love hearing about what you'd like to see, so keep those requests coming. I'm using folk art pre-mixed antiquing medium in the color Wooden Bucket Brown. I added some water to the antique because I prefer my antique mediums a little more runny, but you can use it straight out of the bottle. If you add water, it just makes the antiquing a little more subtle. I'm brushing my antique on the piece, going over and around all the embellishments. I'm doing this in sections and wiping the antique off with a soft dry cloth right away before it can dry. Because of the gloss finish, it will wipe off the surface and stay in all the cracks and crevices, showing the details of the mold. Antiquing gives your embellishments some depth and dimension, making everything look 3D instead of flat. What a difference it makes. Everything just comes to life now. I just love the detail in that beautiful moon. I let the antiquing dry for about an hour, and then I gave the entire plaque a coat of the heavy-duty wood varnish to protect all the antiquing I just did. This time I'm going to use Polyvine's varnish brush to apply the heavy-duty wood varnish. This brush is designed to eliminate brush strokes and leaves a beautiful self-leveling shine. I let my varnish dry for an hour, and now I'm going to add some gold highlights using Decor Wax in the color Eternal. And this stuff is just gorgeous. It dries so shiny that it looks like real gold. I'm putting a small amount of the rub on my finger and rubbing it together with my thumb. Smearing it around like that prevents a large amount of your product ending up in one place. I added some to the edges of the frame and the tops of all the embellishments. So all the clay embellishments are now highlighted in metallic gold. What a gorgeous effect. I get a lot of questions about how I clean my brushes after all the products I'm using. Everything you've seen me use today is water-based, so they will all clean up with soap and water. I use Speedball pink soap for brushes. I'll leave you a link in my description box below. It works really well. It seems to remove paint you didn't even know was still in your brush. I think you'll like it. I have some pretty little gold rhinestones that I'm going to add all over for some sparkly touches of light. I'm adding them to the center of the stars, her gown, and the centers of all the star embellishments. And then a beautiful teardrop stone in the center of her headdress. The name of this rice paper is Warrior Princess, but I think I'm going to call this piece Moon Goddess. If you were going to name it, what would you call it? Tell me in the comments. The tool I'm using is called a rhinestone picker. It has a wax tip that the stones stick to, but release easily once you put them on top of the glue. It really works well and is much better than using tweezers. I'll leave a link for you in my description box below, in case you want to check it out. I decided to add a few stones to her earrings and necklace to complete my sparkly effect. Don't forget, all of the wonderful products I'm using today can be found at my favorite place for craft supplies, decoupagenapkins.com, and I'll leave you links in my description box below. I'm using a soft dry cloth to buff all the eternal wax that I put on here yesterday. Buffing makes it shine like gold. I've added a link to a video that I think you may enjoy. Click the picture on the right to be taken directly to that video. I'm so happy you were here with me today, and thanks so much for watching. I can't wait to see you all next week. I'm working on a new project with you in mind. You can subscribe by clicking my picture in the top right corner.